Tonight, when the air feels too cold, you will probably fix it without thinking. You might close a window, pull up a blanket, turn a dial, press a button. Within minutes, heat will move through the room and your body will stop worrying. Now imagine waking up and realizing none of those choices exist. The cold is not outside your house. It is the world itself. It is in the ground under your feet, in the wind against your face, in the breath leaving your mouth. There is no warm room waiting nearby, no road back, no stored heat hidden in the walls. And the strangest part is this: your ancestors were not built for it. They were not covered in fur like mammoths. They could not hibernate like bears. They could not grow thick winter coats like reindeer. Their children were slow, helpless, and easy to lose. Their fingers could freeze. Their food could vanish. One bad night could end an entire family line. Yet some of them made it through. Not once. Not for one lucky winter, for thousands of years, across some of the coldest conditions humans have ever faced. So what was really happening inside those Ice Age camps? How did a warm-blooded, thin-skinned animal survive a world that seemed designed to erase it? The answer is not as simple as they had fire. Fire was only the beginning. Around 26,500 to 19,000 years ago, during the Last Glacial Maximum, ice sheets reached their greatest spread. In the north, huge areas were locked under ice. Farther south, the land could be dry, open, windy, and bitterly cold. For humans, this was not just uncomfortable weather. It was a survival trap. Cold attacks slowly. First, it steals feeling from the fingers and feet. Then it slows the body. Then it clouds the mind. A person who makes one poor decision in deep cold may not get another chance. The animals around humans had bodies made for that world. Mammoths carried fur and fat. Reindeer moved with the seasons. Bears could disappear into dens. Humans had to survive with bare skin, small teeth, weak claws, and children who needed years of care. On paper, they looked like the wrong species. But Ice Age survival was not only a test of the body, it was a test of preparation. A human cannot grow fur overnight, but a group can prepare before the cold arrives. They can remember where animals pass, where fuel can be found, where wind is weaker, and which old camps worked before. That ability to prepare turned out to matter as much as strength. The first great center of preparation was fire. By the time humans faced the worst cold, fire was already an important part of life in many places. When Will Roebuck and Paula Vila reviewed the European evidence in 2011, they argued that regular fire use becomes much easier to see after roughly 300,000 to 400,000 years ago. That does not mean every group used fire in the same way everywhere. But where it was reliable, it changed everything. A fire made a camp possible. It warmed hands, softened frozen meat, dried wet hide, gave light after sunset, and pushed danger back into the dark. Around it, people could repair tools, prepare food, and stay awake when the night would otherwise force them to sleep. But fire had a problem. It stayed in one place. Step away from it, and the cold returned. A hunter could not carry a whole campfire across an open plain. A child could not wrap herself in flame. If humans wanted to move, they needed warmth that could move with them. That brought the next breakthrough: clothing. Not just animal skins thrown over the shoulders. Real cold weather clothing had to trap heat close to the body. A loose hide leaves gaps. Wind enters. Snow gets inside. Hands and feet still freeze. The small tool that changed this was almost laughably simple: a needle with an eye. Ian Gilligan and colleagues, writing about Paleolithic-eyed needles in 2024, argued that these tools helped people make more fitted and layered clothing. A hole in a thin piece of bone or ivory allowed a thread to pass through the hide. That meant seams could close, sleeves could fit, boots could hold together, and layers could be shaped around the body. A sewn coat is not just a covering, it is a portable shelter. With fitted clothing, a human could leave the fire for longer. Fingers could still grip tools. Feet could stay useful on frozen ground. The body could enter places it was never naturally built to survive. Fire warmed the camp. Clothing carried warmth away from it. But people still needed a place to stop. In some Ice Age landscapes, wood was scarce. There were not always forests full of poles for building. So humans used what the frozen world gave them: mammoth bones. At Kostenki 11 in Russia, Alexander Pryor and his team studied a large circular structure made with mammoth bones. Their 2020 work showed people building with skulls, jaws, tusks, and long bones during the early part of the Last Glacial Maximum. Imagine that scene. No bricks, no metal, no cutboards, just giant bones, hides, earth, and human hands turning the remains of animals into protection from the wind. A mammoth was not only meat, its fat could feed a flame, its hide could block the weather, its bones could become tools or walls. In a world where winter punished waste, every useful part mattered. But even fire, clothing, and shelter could not solve the slowest killer: hunger. Winter hides food. Plants shrink back. Rivers freeze. Small animals vanish. A camp cannot survive by hoping tomorrow will be lucky. People had to know where the big animals were before hunger became desperate. At Goyet in Belgium and other late Pleistocene sites, Christoph Wissing and colleagues studied chemical traces in ancient bones. Their isotope work helped show that large, cold-adapted animals such as mammoth and reindeer were major parts of the food world for some humans in Ice Age Europe. But knowing that people ate big animals is only the start. A mammoth is not a pantry. It is a dangerous animal with muscle, tusks, and fear. A reindeer herd is not waiting to be collected. It moves with the weather, grass, snow, and danger. So the real weapon was not only the spear, it was a memory. Where do herds cross when snow comes? Which valley slows them down? Where can hunters stand without being seen? When is an animal fat enough to risk the hunt? A spear kills only after knowledge puts the hunter in the right place, and knowledge lives in people. An older hunter who can no longer travel far may remember where animals turned 20 winters ago. A grandmother may know which plants can still be found when the ground looks empty. A toolmaker may know how to repair a broken point when no good stone is nearby. If a group valued only strong bodies, it would throw away information. And information could mean heat, food, and one more morning. This is the human layer of Ice Age survival. A child had to learn how to stay dry, how close to remain to the fire, how to read clouds, how to watch animals, and how to notice danger before it became obvious. None of that knowledge appears automatically. Someone had to teach it. Someone had to let children watch, copy, fail, and try again. Someone had to feed injured people until they could help themselves again. Someone had to listen to the old before their memories disappeared. The Ice Age was not defeated by lone heroes. It was survived by groups that kept knowledge alive. And even that did not guarantee success. Ancient DNA has made the story colder. In 2023, Vanessa Villalba Muco and colleagues studied a 23,000-year-old individual from southern Iberia and connected that region to human groups living before and after the Last Glacial Maximum in Western Europe. The meaning is powerful. Some places acted as refuges, holding lines of ancestry through the worst cold, while other regions saw major population change. Some groups made it, some did not. That is what makes the survival story real. Ice Age humans were not magically adapted to the cold. They survived only when enough pieces held together: fire, clothing, shelter, food, memory, movement, and cooperation. Now the answer becomes clearer. Humans survived the Ice Age by building a second body around their weak one. Fire became borrowed warmth. Clothing became borrowed fur. Shelter became a borrowed skin against the wind. Hunting knowledge became a map through hunger. Other people became the safety net that no single body had. Tonight, when you pull a blanket over yourself, you are using an idea older than cities. When you put on a coat, you are wrapped in the same basic logic as a stitched hide. When you trust that food will still be there tomorrow, you are living inside a system your ancestors had to build with memory, labor, and risk. The Ice Age did not ask humans to be stronger than winter. It asked them to become more than their bodies. And through fire, clothing, shelter, memory, and each other, some of them did. That is why you are here.